and really brought that forward. Aristotle and Plato first theorized these three aspects of the mind, but Kathy Kolbe is the only person who has really developed the assessment that identifies how you naturally take action. What is your natural problem-solving method? So whenever you're making a decision, solving a problem, or creating something new, you are using these striving instincts if you're free to be yourself.
Okay. By the way, and I'm going to bring Kim and Jeff into this, but I don't think I mentioned your website, and I want to do that. It's tagenel.com. So TAGENEL.com. I think you might be the only Tagenel in the United States. I'm not sure.
I think I am, since I made that name up. For another time.
You know, Kathy, one of the things that I have loved about what you've coached me on in the Kolbe analysis and all that is it has helped me embrace some of the things that I thought, well, maybe I should be better at some of the other stuff. Like I'm an ideas person, a creative type, and thanks to your coaching, I embrace that more, and where maybe I'm not as good with some of the details. Your coaching let me off, I don't want to say let me off the hook, but you certainly let me accept my style of working, and I'm forever grateful about that.
You are so welcome, Jeff. And that's one of the power of what when you understand these instinctive strengths, like for yourself, one of your strengths is your ability to innovate and really push the envelope. And allowing yourself to do that and to recognize that you work best at a hard deadline, not doing things weeks in advance. But that's just your natural energy flow. And we need to appreciate that about ourselves. It's just so liberating when you understand this and you're not trying to force yourself into what works for other people.
I just wish, yeah, I am beyond grateful for Kathy and Bob. I was introduced to the Kolbe coming to a Beyond the Mastermind in 2023. And I've said this before, it started my transformation. It was something I knew, and I knew instinctively I probably should not ever do paperwork and do insurance renewals, that I should have been the visionary in my agency. But when you have the data, and data doesn't lie, to back up what you needed to know was truth, it really helped me, like Jeff said, not beat myself up, because I don't love the back office. I can do it, but it certainly is not. I want to go take a power nap after doing some of those things, like, phew. And now I partnered with Kathy, and I will not coach a private client without them agreeing to a Kolbe assessment.
Oh, no, don't either.
Because I can coach them better, faster, and have more transformation knowing what their MO is. And it has been fascinating in the last 24 months how much transformation you can help people have and see having the data. And I'm a DISC person. I've taken the DISC 100 million. You give me an assessment, I'll be like, can't wait to fill it out. But I'm a DISC person. I'm a high D, high I. Shocker. I'm in the strength test. I'm strategy first. But this is really energetically how you show up in life. And again, like Jeff said, it gave me permission to be myself. And it is so powerful.
Yeah, that is great. And I'm same with you. If I'm coaching someone, they've got to take. Kathy does the Kolbe, absolutely. So let me ask you something, because Kim had brought up something. Kolbe, do people, when you first bring up about Kolbe, do they ever think it's a personality type of thing? And how do you handle that?
Yes. I mean, people are so used to all the personality tests that are out there that it's first helping them understand that this is something totally different from personality. The Kolbe is the only assessment, and it's what's unique, that identifies these innate abilities, these striving instincts on how you solve a problem, make a decision. It is your mental energy, and we each have a certain amount When we're healthy and we wake up in the morning, our mental energy tank is filled. Just like our physical energy, we have mental energy. And when you understand the percentages that you have in each of the 4 modes and you work with that, you can flow energetically through your day and not feel brain dead. You know what you need to delegate. The things like Kim, you're saying, it's not that you can't. Of course, you can do the paperwork, but because it's not your natural strength, it takes more energy and will leave you drained afterwards. So why not find somebody who naturally does it well and it just flows for them instead of having to drain yourself? It's so powerful to understand that. Yes, Jeff.
That brings up something to me when I'm writing, when I'm working on a manuscript, doing a first draft, like I'm doing one right now with Susan Solomon. And
Oh,
I
cool.
can
love
literally, yeah, she's a great lady. But as I'm drafting, I can draft for hours and hours, and when I get through, I'm ready to go do something else. It's fun, but you take that same thing where maybe I'm working on an email sequence, or I'm working on some of the logistics of my business. I can do it for an hour and a half. Think, oh man, I just can't do this anymore.
That's right, because you're an adapter in what's called the follow-through mode, Jeff. That's the instinct to structure and pattern. Your natural instinct is to be more open and random and adapt to what's going on. So when you have to force yourself to create an email sequence, oh my gosh, it will take twice the amount of energy. Whereas someone myself with the initiating follow-through, that just flows for me. And so that's why we
Right.
need this diversity of strengths in the people that we work with. We each have our gifts and we want to stay in that zone of our gifts and team up and collaborate with others. And we can all accomplish more, be more productive, and do it from a place of joy.
So key. I'd love to hear a couple stories if you don't mind sharing. And I know you won't use names of people and so forth, but I would love to know, some of the, I mean, I've seen some of these obviously myself, but there's also some I know that are really special.
Well, as Kim was sharing how she feels, such satisfaction.
Yeah, that's
Yes, impacted someone. I feel the same way when I've helped share someone's Kolbe with them and help them understand those results. I've had people email me back saying, I'm in tears. I'm not broken. That I have gifts. So much in our culture tells us we have to be one way, but that may not be the way we are. So it is just so heartwarming and satisfying to be able to share this. I truly believe everybody needs to know this. Every child should understand this about themselves. It's just so powerful. So a few other examples. I was working with another person who was coming to our Beyond the Mastermind retreat, and I had explained her results. She is a realtor, and she shared with me, she's like, do you think this would be worth doing for my assistant? I actually don't think she's working out, and I think I might need to let her go. And I said, well, if you're open, let's do it. And let's see if she's a conative fit or not. And so she did, and found out the assistant was the perfect fit for the role, but she was thinking that the assistant needed to do it her way, which her way was very different and worked great as the realtor, but not as the person doing all the paperwork. So it was really eye-opening, and they were able to work effectively.
Well, here's the funny thing about this too, because this one I do know. He was at our event, and she happens to be a top, one of the mega top producing realtors that you hear about sometimes. And she had told us that when she asked you to do the Kolbe with her assistant, with her admin, it was really just to qualify her own belief that she should fire her, that she should let it go. Let her go, excuse me. Right. And so she was actually doing it just to confirm her bias. And then you can, unfortunately, but one reason why she's so successful is because she's not going to fall victim to that. And she's going to see where she may not have been correct. And it's worked out just beautifully.
Yeah. And I just want to throw out there, the conative piece is one aspect. So when you're hiring someone, you want to make sure that it's a fit for their instinctive strengths, but also that you have a values fit, that there's a skills fit. So I'm not just saying it's the one piece.
Sure.
We have to look at the entire person, and we want to help people be in positions where they can thrive and truly enjoy what they're doing. Another one, I just absolutely love working with couples, especially when they're entrepreneurs. And thank you for referring your client, Adrian and Charlene, to me. Just phenomenal individuals. They have had their business they just celebrated 19 years in business together. I mean, that's a huge accomplishment just for being in business, but for couples, if for anyone who's ever worked with a spouse, you know what that's like. So kudos for them. We went through their results yesterday, and it was just so wonderful, the ahas that they felt in understanding each other. Things that had been a source of frustration, they realized, oh, this is your natural way of doing it. It's not that you're trying to be a pain, not do it. It's this understanding that comes with, oh, I get it. For instance, they gave me permission to share a little. So Charlene initiates in what's called Fact Finder. So she specifies, she can get in and do the research and write things down. And then Adrian's gift is his ability to explain in that mode.
Mm-hmm.
And so she'll take it to him to edit. And he can do that. But then she would come back and want to edit it 20 times. And he'd be like, he would just reach this point where he just didn't have any more of that fact finder energy. And, she couldn't understand, well, why not? Well, because he doesn't have as much. There was a difference of 2. And it's not linear, it's orders of magnitude. So you feel that difference between 2 people in the different modes. It's really fascinating once you experience this and understand this about themselves. And also Adrian happens to be a natural mediator facilitator, meaning he doesn't initiate in any mode. He actually accommodates across 3 and prevents in 1. And so he truly is this unsung hero and the glue that keeps it all together. So really was validating for him to go, oh, that's why. It just starts making so much sense. So I just absolutely love sharing this information and helping people, really be more productive, really appreciate the gifts that they have, and to find that joy in their life. Because when you're working from this place of your strengths, and your energy flows, and it doesn't feel like you're working.
Right. And one thing I love, Kathy, and if you want to explain this to the audience, because
Sure.
again, I'm kind of a assessment junkie.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't change.
Yes.
Right. So DISC will change over time. If I took the DISC now, I haven't taken a long time. This I love about it is this is your MO. So can you explain that a little bit? And then I do wish if you would just explain, because I have a 22-year-old about to graduate college, and we are going to do a Kolbe with you so that she can have a slight edge into her next journey and chapter, which I wish I'd had. But explain how this actually helps people coming into the workforce out of college, because this should be requirement for a diploma.
Yes, it should be included. But one thing about the Kolbe assessment, and Kolbe Corp has done 20-year test and retest. It does not, your strength doesn't change over time. These are innate, authentic abilities you're born with. You are wired to be successful in these ways. So it does not change. This is one thing that we can count on. The cognitive and the affect changes over time. We know we develop skills, and if we don't use it, we lose it. We can pick it back up like riding a bike, but if we're not using it, and the same, our affect, that emotional development is our true area of growth. We don't have to be locked in patterns we developed as children to protect ourselves. We can grow and become more whole in who we are as individuals. So I'm with you, Kim. I would love to see every graduating senior. I actually mentor at my local high school, and I gift this to my graduating seniors so they can understand this about themselves. And it also, while it doesn't put you in any kind of box, and it doesn't say this is your career, what it will help you understand is, depending what your interest is, what about that career is going to come naturally to you, what
Yes.
might be frustrating, what you need to be aware of if you're going to go that route. I know that had I had this, I might have pursued a totally different avenue. I don't regret anything I've done, but it would have opened up things to me that I had not even considered, factoring in innate abilities that I didn't even discover until later in life. And, I'm still discovering. So thank you, Kim.
Yeah, I agree. I believe that awareness is our friend, and being aware, having the data makes it so much better. So thank you.
So I want to shift in this final part to your strategizing that you do. I've always been amazed at how you've done that, and you really took the Go Giver concept and from the book, magnificently written with John David Mann being the magnificent writer, but written with the magnificent John David Mann. Jeff, don't laugh. You always catch me when I say those things that are, that are ridiculous. You're the one that catch. Everybody else lets them go, and I always see you laughing. But and you kind of stepped in right at the beginning and coordinated. Well, you strategized and coordinated it and made it really happen. Took it to a whole different areas where where we have the speakers and the different groups we've had and the Beyond the Go Giver Beyond the Mastermind event, and all these different things. Your brain works in a way that's different than mine, obviously, because I don't see those things. So what? And I'm going to give an example right here too, because you all also have a way of always making it about the other person. So recently, I bought I have a cat who has some biting issues. He was a rescue, and it's come from a background that wasn't necessarily pleasant. So he's got some biting issues that he still goes through. Been trying to work him out of that little by little. Hasn't really worked. So I saw this great ad on Instagram, I think, for a cat thing that you could put over your arm that you can wrestle with him without him taking your hand off and destroying your entire arm like Buddy does with me.
It looks like Buddy.
I know he does.
Kitty.
I know. And
You're gonna have to bring Buddy up now.
So I was really excited about this, and so you can wrestle with your cat, so he can get all the aggression out and do all the things. He is totally not interested. Now, granted, he's sort of like his human dad. He doesn't always catch on to things right away that he probably should. But you had this great idea. You said, well, why didn't they just make, a doll thing like this with a protective arm? Since that's what Buddy wants. Buddy wants to attack my hand and my arm. So why didn't they just do that? That is saying, and say, no big deal. No, it is a big deal, because what they did do is they didn't see it from the viewpoint of the cat. That now they saw it from the viewpoint of the person who'd be buying it. So I'm actually the customer, but the end user is the cat. So how do you think like that? How does that happen? You say, well, why didn't they just make it an arm?
So, well, I'll share that my MO, I initiate in what's called follow through. So I systematize, I develop things, but then secondarily, I'm highly accommodating what's called quick start. So I want to create things, but they have to be new and different each time. So I see things, in a different way. I do not maintain. I like to create it, but don't ask me to maintain it. Those are, the times in my life where I've burnt myself out, where I've had to try to maintain things. And that's just not when my energy flows. So, Bob, thank you for the opportunity to be a part of this, Go Giver from the beginning. From the moment I read the advanced copy of the book, I knew this book was going to change the world. And we partnered to create that city partner program. And that really helped me.
The first thing you did with us, that's right. Oh my gosh, what you did with that. Because, wow. Go ahead.
And it was something that I had never done a big event of over 200 people before. I had done maybe 70 people. And I discovered I was good at it. I loved it. It tapped all of my strengths. And it came so naturally
You
to me.
systemize the whole thing. I hadn't been able to get it. So because my thing was always being hired by corporate audiences and
Mhm.
organizations. So there might be, thousands of people in the audience, but I didn't bring any of them in. That was the
Mhm.
thing. So now asking you, can you get, a couple hundred people, 150 people, whatever? Well, I've never done this, but I'll give it a try. Well, you systemize the whole thing. You had this magnificent audience with all these sponsors. And then it was, well, Kathy, could you do that like everywhere else throughout the country while I'm promoting this book? And you did, and you showed other people how to do it. And that's what I mean, that you took this thing from nothing, you systemize it. I define a system as the process of predictably achieving a goal based on a logical and specific set of how-to principles, right? So you
Mhm.
basically strategize the whole thing, put it down there, and made it so anyone else can duplicate it, which I know is what you do with your clients.
Yeah. So that was so much fun. And we did 50 of those events. Can you believe
50
it?
over the
Together
course of a
Wow.
couple of years or something. Yeah.
Yeah, several,
Wow.
probably 8
That's a
total.
lot.
Yeah.
But then we went on.
Jeff was one. Jeff, you were one of the city
Jeff
partners,
hosted.
weren't you?
Yes, he
Yeah,
did.
that was before we
That's
were
where I
great.
met
I mean,
Kathy for the
we were
first
friends,
time.
but that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, met so many incredible people through hosting those events, and then I've developed so many things together. It's just been really an absolute blast. I especially love our Beyond the Mastermind retreats, where we get to work with a group of 8 people, and that's where transformation really, really does occur. And we're getting ready to launch our new Go Givers International membership organization.
Yeah, tell us about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've had lots of people reaching out. They really want more connection with fellow Go Givers. You've sold over 2 million copies of all the books in your series. The Go Givers sold over 1 million. So there's a lot of people out there that this message resonates with, and they want to connect with other people. So part of it will be an online platform that makes it easier to connect without all the yucky parts of regular social media. I'm with Kim. There's a place for the regular social media, but we're creating a home. We want to welcome home all the Go Givers with the goal around community. It is about connection, communication, and collaboration. So this isn't just about getting together. This is about let's create the world we want to live in. As Go Givers, we're all leaders and, for the most part, entrepreneurs or intrapreneurs, and we can create the world that we envision, the world like you wrote about in the Go Giver series, Bob. So that's the big goal of our community. And not only will it be virtual, we're going to have virtual events. We're calling Table for 4, a way to help members get to meet each other in small breakouts of 4, and they'll get to have multiple meetings. We'll also start having some live events and maybe even regional events. So I'm just very excited. I always wanted to connect Go Givers worldwide.
Yeah, I love it. Tell us, as we bring this conversation to a close, tell us, you put together something very special for our viewers.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you. Well, one, if anyone would like a complimentary strategy session, you can go to my website, tagenel.com. That's TAGENEL.com. And you can book a 30-minute consult, and we can just explore, what do you have going on? Maybe you want to explore your strength stacks, learn more about what the Kolbe is before you take it. For those of you who we've piqued your interest and you want to find out what your MO is, I have a special package on that site. And if you use the code BOB, B-O-B, you can save $126, and that will give you the Kolbe A Index. We'll spend an hour really going through helping you understand and how to leverage your innate strengths. And there'll be several other reports that I share with you in that package. And I really am about helping people get in alignment with joy in their life and to be able to create from a place of joy. I want to call out Kathy Loftman, a dear friend, turned me on to Robert Holden's. He has a free audio on his website, robertholden.com. If you want to go there, called Follow Your Joy. I had told her that my word for this year is joy. And so I listened to it, and he said something that, well, he just gave me the words for what I felt. And that is that joy is our original energy. When we're born, there's the reason you say babies are bundles of joy. That is our original energy. And I want to help people get in alignment and connect with that original energy of joy and help them grow their business from that place of joy.
Thank you,
Love
Kathy. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you so much for working with me for so long and making me a better person, and really just getting the word out there. And I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you, Kim and Jeff, and thank you for this opportunity to have this wonderful conversation and to share today. Thank you.
Our pleasure.
Great.
Our pleasure.
Great to have you here.
Visit Tagenel.com. I'm going to bring Kim and Jeff back in just a moment. But first, I do want to thank our producer, Joseph Lewin. And Joseph is the founder of Sell Through Social. He helps speakers and coaches really grow their influence through live shows on LinkedIn and YouTube. You know, a live show is an easy way to start a conversation with people you want to know. His team, including the lovely Allison, also assists clients in growing their YouTube and LinkedIn through video-based content services. I've been working together with him now for a while. He's absolutely fantastic and responsive and knowledgeable, always learning more and always a joy to work with. So thank you, Joseph Lewin. Well, Jeff and Kim, what did you guys think?
Amazing.
He's
amazing.
Every time we're around Kathy, and it's just great. And I think my signal's going off because my hands are waving oddly.
Your energy's down.
Well, I'm traveling in Florida, my bad, but it's so good to be with everybody today.
Thank you, Jeff. Kim?
The Colby and Kathy are priceless. I've attended 2 Beyond the Masterminds. One started my transformation into this miraculous life that I live and grow into every day. And so I'm just beyond grateful for Kathy and Bob and Jeff, and the Colby is just take it. Don't even think about it. If you're a fact finder, just say yes.
Absolutely.
Tagenel.com. All right. Well, that's it for today's show. Thank you so much again to Kathy Tagenel for sharing her wonderful heart and wisdom with us, as well as to my great friends, Jeff West and Kim Angeli. Thank you for joining us, and see you next time on Bob and Friends.